I am here to do a review of Popular Playthings magnetic match rings. I am an occupational therapist, and so I work with children that generally have fine motor difficulties, and this is one of my go-to favorite therapeutic toys. But of course, it is fun for anyone. The first thing I usually have children do is play with the magnets themselves, and of course when they see this and they try to pull it apart, they may initially have some difficulty because they are kind of strong magnets, but that's a good thing because I do work with children that might have some weakness in their fingers or might have difficulty feeling the way their fingers are moving, where they are in space. It's something we call proprioception. By the way, if you'd like to learn more about proprioception, I have another video about that, and you can click on the link below to learn more about proprioception. So, the first thing is that kids start playing with pulling this apart. If they have some weakness, they may learn to do it this way, slide it off. But assuming that they are typical strength, they can just go ahead and play with pulling it apart, and of course, trying to push it together when it doesn't want to be pushed together, which is also pretty fun. The next thing is playing on a surface where you can really play with how the magnets react, and the entire time a child is playing with this, they're getting that extra input into their hands, that pull or that repulsion that can make this a very interesting sensation for the fingers. So that in itself is pretty fun. So the next activity that I like to do with kids involves using this ring. So what I'd like to do is it's a pre-beading activity. So the child has to figure out how to get that to fit on. And then it goes on down. And when you're lucky, the kid will do this. Oh, that was not lucky. Let's try this. And say, whoa, what happened? Of course, they get a lot of sensation in the fingers when they just play with this as well. So then after experimenting, they may learn. Some kids don't like that, and they do learn eventually to flip it over if they want it to just sit. Another fun little activity that you can do with this after a child figures out that these magnets can bounce like that is to set one up to bounce, grab any container, and ready, aim, fire! That one missed. Goody. Okay. Fun little challenge to figure out exactly how to aim it, what sort of angle to use. So that can be a fun activity too. Another activity is to take a clipboard or a piece of cardboard, or if you have a thin table like a bedside, one of those eat-in bed kinds of fold-out tables, you can place a magnet under it, place another one on top. Whoop, that was repulsed. There we go. And have fun making it seem like magic. And if we add one, okay, let's do it this way, just for kicks. Woo! All right. Or we can drag them. All right, so that's just another fun little activity. Putting beads on a stick when it's propped on a table and you're able to use just one hand is a different activity, and you're able to use just one hand is a different activity than having to coordinate both hands together. For example, I can remove that stick and just hold the stick, and then I need to coordinate both hands together to get the stick in the hole or the hole on the stick. So this is just another variation that I use when I'm working with a child who has to learn to coordinate both hands together. Just another variation on a pre-beading activity, because this will feed into being able to take a lace, a piece of string, and put beads on it. But of course, when it's a stick, it's just a lot easier. Now, when kids are ready for a greater challenge, what we can do is take out the cards. Take out the cards that come with it. And they're arranged, here you see the numbers, from the easiest ones to the more difficult ones. They're double-sided, so 39 and 40 are the more difficult challenges. And here's the easiest one. So all a child needs to do is get that same pattern on the stick. So they have to, of course, learn to put the blue one on first, then the red, then the yellow. And at the same time, make sure that they are all oriented correctly so that they stick. So this is what it looks like when it is all matched correctly. Of course, if a child didn't quite get it right, they'd have to remember to turn the ring over and make it sit. And here's an example of the level 3 card where the child had to figure out how to get that space between the red and the yellow one. This is some good cognitive stimulation, really gets a child thinking. So it's the next thing to do when a child wants a little more of a challenge. So I hope you enjoyed my little presentation. Again, this is one of my favorite therapeutic toys. I use it with children that just want a lot of stimulation and exploration. I use it with children that have any sort of finger weakness or have any difficulties with proprioception. It helps to strengthen the fingers and refine their grasp.